Welcome back to another episode of the Blue Ridge Bonfire. I'm Rick,
I'm Matt.
and our very special guest.
I'm Rodney.
So today, Rodney is going to talk to us about some like overlanding and medical related topics. He knows a lot about that and has years of experience. So really interested to see what he has to say because he is very much the expert in the room when it comes to medical advice. So yeah, before we get started, Rodney, can you tell us a little bit about your occupational experience, overland experience, life experience?
Oh boy, it's a long
We
story.
don't want to know about your
No,
life.
no life experience here. Well, I'm from Florida, born and raised. Done a lot of traveling. Been around the world. Had a lot of training in the medical field. I'm a firefighter paramedic in Florida, and I've been doing that for 20 years.
So let's go back. Firefighter, paramedic in Florida, and been around the world doing medical training stuff.
Yes, we've done.
all over the place. Yeah, in various third world countries or whatever. So on top of that, like how many calls do you guys run a day at just let's say at your house? I mean, you're running like 20 calls a day or something, right? It's something stupid.
It can go from 15 to 20.
Okay.
We're a busy station.
Yeah. Okay. So
yeah.
you literally are providing some form of medical care, potentially 15 times a day.
Yeah.
In a
I mean,
24-hour
and-
cycle,
and
or
it
20
could
times
be-
a day in a
and-
24-hour
yes,
cycle.
And it could be absolutely an emergency, and it could absolutely not be an emergency. You never know. I mean, it's their emergency, put it that way.
Here's your Band-Aid.
And we're always listen. We're always happy to help.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that, but yes, the emergencies range from I stubbed my toe, I have a chipped tooth,
It's a full-on decapitation.
to yes, my head's over there, my body's over there. So we cover everything. We range our but you have to understand where I'm from. 96% of our calls are medical calls.
Oh.
So even though we do fire and EMS,
Yeah.
but
Wow.
that's the bread and butter is the medical stuff.
Yeah.
Right. That's and your house does how many calls?
I was trying
A year?
I wish I could get it right on the nose, but I mean we're up there with the busiest. Not the busiest. There's quite a few others. 3 or 4 stations that are busier than we are, but our transport time is what keeps us busy too.
Yeah. Okay.
But we do our county as a whole. We ran over 60,000 calls last year. So
That's
and
a
Right.
lot.
Yeah. That's what
Yes.
I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
so as far as actually like, experience fixing said boo-boo, said
yes.
said
Yeah.
said the
I'm fairly confident I can fix it.
yeah.
I mean, I'm not. I've seen some stuff that's made me scratch my head before, but the normal stuff
Yeah.
is it's just the regular skill level.
Yeah. You've had a lot of experience
Yes.
keeping the blood on the inside.
Yes.
Yeah.
Rodney, before we started recording, you said, kind of like what people think they need to bring versus, what they should carry. What kind of insight can you give us on that?
I just think that there's a lot of times when people, this day and age, everybody buys their equipment based on what the military uses. Every company seems to sell their kits based on what's in their, the military's kits. So a lot of times people buy things and they just don't know what's in it. They don't take the time to find out what's inside the kit. They don't take the time to open it up and see until there's an emergency.
Yeah, which is the exact opposite time. You want to be like rummaging through, getting familiar with what you're actually carrying.
Exactly.
Kind of on that note, because I agree, you see these like prepackaged kits. What do you think for if you're going to be out on the trail, like you, your family, or like you and a couple buddies, what areas of medical should you focus on? And then kind of versus, what a lot
I mean, like what should you know how to do? Like what's like the first few things you should know how to do? Like shit that you would run into.
Oh, well, I mean, obviously the main one is, the blood's all supposed to be on the inside.
Yeah.
So if the blood's on the outside, then we know we want to stop that blood from being on the outside. So
It's just like wiring.
it
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
It's
Who knew?
like
Keep the smoke inside the wires.
A
Keep
couple
the
of
inside,
episodes
okay.
ago, yeah.
just
Yeah,
keep
makes
everything in
perfect
there.
sense.
So I mean, like bandaging is a big deal. I think people. Every kit these days comes with a tourniquet, and they all have their place. I certainly believe in them myself. We carry them at work, but the bandaging, even is direct pressure, things to stop bleeding, it is important in all aspects of first aid.
So what's the most common thing, I guess, So I'm gonna actually diverse or change directions on you just for a second. Like the most common thing I run into relative to first aid or medical stuff when I'm out is almost always allergies. Like it seems like allergic reaction stuff is stuff that I have
Right.
like that's the one thing that I go through more Benadryl
Yeah.
out of my truck, short of ibuprofen, but that's normally just because I need it. But trying to
That's in the
Right.
snack drawer, not the yeah.
the snack drawer. Right, that's true. There's a point at which you've got too many miles on the chassis and it requires some help. But anyway, so are there things that you run into consistently? Obviously, stopping bleeding, but are there things that you run into? Like, what's the highest probability thing?
Honestly, the ibuprofen thing is a big deal.
Okay.
You know, we have kids, so
Yeah.
yeah, oh, I have a headache. Oh, this hurts. We're getting older, so
Right. Yeah.
I need ibuprofen. But I mean, antibiotic ointments, burn creams.
Oh, yeah. Burn's
We
a good
see a
idea.
lot of that. Tape. I'm constantly going through rolls of tape because band-aids just don't ever stay. So
Right.
we have, you know,
Do you
we
use like Luca tape for stuff?
Luca tape, man.
Luca tape, yeah. I honestly
Excuse me.
will take. I honestly will take a. Just I have a small roll of duct tape,
Okay.
and I cut a slice off, and I put the Band-Aid on it, and then I put the duct tape on them, so the Band-Aid's on the inside, and then even that, like if you just have this weird shaped injury, you can always just take a 4x4 and you fold it over like 3 times, and then you put a piece of duct tape over it, and now you have this huge Band-Aid
Yeah.
that you can slap on there. So the boo boo bag, that's what Asher started calling it. So that's kind of like what we have and we carry everywhere with us. So it's the Band-Aids, the antibiotic
Yeah.
ointments, the gauze wrap and some tape.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of what we run into.
Yeah, that's how
Vet
my
wrap? Do you carry a vet wrap? That's the other thing. I use the crap out of vet wrap,
Oh,
but
yeah.
I don't know that it's always for.
It's
A lot
No.
of times that'll be like for blisters and miscellaneous things.
I was saying
that-
the Luca tape replaced moleskin for me because
Yeah,
for
yeah.
like any
Oh,
kind of like
oh,
blister on
oh,
your
yeah.
foot, it is
But-
10 times better. But
yeah.
yeah,
No,
vet
it's not.
wrap's super handy and it's really temperature stable. I appreciate that too. Like the adhesive quality
it
doesn't go
keeps
away.
everything
Yeah.
where you want it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had really bad road rash from like above my knee to my ankle after a bike wreck once and went through several rolls because every day it was like wrapping
Yeah,
up.
yeah, rewrapping
Oh,
it.
yeah.
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 Interesting, because I think people end up like you said, they buy kits, they don't open them, they don't know what's in them, they haven't used much stuff in the past, which is probably lucky. I mean, I'm probably
Yeah.
just the unlucky one who's had the opportunity to,
Yeah.
in a crisis, fucking keep the blood on the inside, or
Right.
been leaking all over the place, or
Right.
road rash and
Yeah.
mild head injuries and whatever.
you said the
other
boo-boo
stupid
kit.
things.
That's something I've got into recently is keeping the like our headrest first aid kit is that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Essentially, stop the bleeding, stop the allergies. Not to be too crude, but if you're not going number 2, something to help with that, and if you're going way much too much
Yes,
number 2,
there's-
something to help with that.
There's
Right.
the happy
That's
medium,
coffee and
you
cheese.
know.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
coffee and cheese, and you're
It's
Coffee
at all times.
Coffee if you want to go, cheese if you
you
want
wanna
to
stop
stop.
it. Yeah,
Sharp
that's
sharp
fine.
cheddar is pretty shelf stable.
really
right,
is.
right,
It
yeah,
really is.
100%.
In our middle pocket of our headrest first aid kit, little block of sharp cheddar.
There we go.
And then something I include, just because I heard like a secondhand story about a guy chipping a tooth on a trip,
Ah.
is those emergency filling kits.
So my wife just used one of those the other day. Like she had a crown come off
Yeah.
and was using an emergency filling kit. That's
And-
something we keep too.
You just repackage it. They come
Yep.
on this
Right,
giant
yeah.
card,
Yep.
but the kit is essentially this little thing the size of your thumb
Yep.
and a little applicator. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And packaging, it's funny you say that, like changing the packaging or repackaging it. That's another thing that we find today is that Amazon and places like that and all
Yeah.
the stuff that you buy, you can buy, and it's like
Here's your pack of Band-Aids.
it's
Box.
They're not individually wrapped, or they're the packaging is paper, and so a lot of times in the stuff that we do as a group, you open it up. Like emergencies never happen when you want. I mean, it's never when it's beautiful and sunny outside. It's always when it's cold, it's rain, it's windy.
Yeah.
So you open up a soft pack or a hard pack or whatever you carry. You don't want to, you don't want to lose everything when you open that
Yeah.
kit up. So having things individually wrapped, like your individually wrapped gauze or your individually wrapped Band-Aids, or
And keeping those in pouches,
Right.
that's a
Yeah.
big thing for me.
Keeping them
Yeah.
in.
Because
Organized.
you're right, your truck never breaks down in the garage with a lift.
No.
Yeah, you never have
No.
you're
It's all,
a flat tire on a sunny 70-degree day.
never
Right.
Yeah.
happens. Never happens.
Um,
And it's always a sidewall, and the plug kit won't work. Right?
so we talk about like our kits and everything, but if you use those individual packets, and I recently found myself in this situation, like all those medications, I was low. I found a refill kit from Adventure Medical at one of our local walkabout outfitter. Had a cool little like antibiotic and like medications. It's all generic
Right.
stuff, like refill kit versus buying a new first aid kit. But do you have a better solution for when you need ibuprofen, and you don't want to buy a
So-
bottle of 70 and have to like individually pack them or whatever?
Well, the to go containers are great.
Bottle of 70 is.
Well,
Yeah.
yes, it is. It's nice to have a lot, but the travel containers, the capsules, the long, slender,
Oh, like
about
a-
the size of your finger.
No.
I've always taken those, and when I use them up, whether it's Tylenol or Advil or whatever, ibuprofen, you can peel them off, peel the label off,
Yeah,
and just a label maker on there, and you put on what's on there. That's great for stuff that we do. But like commercial, that's why you find those little packets, because commercial kits and ones used for businesses, they have to have, in order for them to meet certain requirements by OSHA or NIOSH or whatever, they have to have those packets individual. So if like one employee grabs one, you don't contaminate the whole thing.
Yeah.
So, but for us, we don't really care about that.
Right,
So we just care about expiration dates. So I use the little capsules. Normally you get them and you just repackage them.
Okay, cool.
All right. So what kind of stuff do you carry in your truck? In general, what's the like for again overland adventure stuff? And then I'm a just me personally. So I'm a personal believer that you should kit to your skill.
Oh yes.
And your skill is obviously beyond mine or most of our listeners probably. But
And
so,
we've
but
talked about that.
what do you carry? And are the things that you're just like, oh holy crap, this is probably way more than what most people, or you're going to do more damage than good if you have one of these.
It's crazy because
Like a big pin and a Swiss Army knife for a trick.
It's
you know.
like
Right. I mean, I probably
listen.
I probably
I'm
have
not
that.
listen. We do that kind of stuff, and I'm still like you're steering away from that. Like that's you're getting to the point where you're like, okay, I'm not at work today. I'm not really sure that's where I want to go with it.
Yeah, judgment call. Yeah.
But no, see, we have accident prone children. I have 2 boys, so we do the boo boo kit and the bandage and stuff like that. But that's stuff that's readily available normally on the headrest. So I use like the small IFAC kit from you guys. I use it because it velcros up there and it's nice, and I can keep a set of rubber gloves in there, a set of trauma shears, Band-Aids, and I keep a cat tourniquet in every one of my kits, no matter the size of it or what it's in. I always keep one in there, just because.
Is yours expired?
No.
Oh, I'm just
no.
checking.
Oh no.
I'm sure mine are because I'm sure I've bought mine from
listen,
somebody who was getting rid of expired ones.
So I'm a firm believer in. I'm not paid by them and I'm not sponsored by them, but North American Rescue, their stuff comes fairly shrink wrapped in like all their stuff, their trauma bandages, their chest seals, all their stuff just comes and it's packaged well. So you kind of goes back to what we were saying about emergencies never happen when the sun's shining and it's 75 degrees outside. It's freezing cold or raining, and so I like being able to keep all my stuff together. So I have a lot of that stuff packaged like that. And the tourniquets, though, they aren't in the package. I always rip them out. You don't want to leave them in the package.
Right.
No.
That's a big no-no because blood starts spurting everywhere and you can't get it open. So,
Yeah.
but the small one we keep just the random stuff. I even keep a whistle that's highly overlooked. Well, you're a survival guy, so like you can't get away. A whistle and a
Signal mirror? Or...
a glow stick.
glow stick for nighttime.
Yeah. So we do those.
Yeah.
I normally have a red one for signal and then a green one for lighting, because red and red never mix. Like red and blood, they don't go good together.
Yeah.
So you don't really want to use the red one for that. But no, and I do that, and then I have the medium kit, which I've always just used the medium kit for other stuff, and that's just the same stuff that's in the small, but then I add in a few more bandages, like 6-inch trauma bandages, an abdominal pad, things of that nature. And that's kind of just because I'm a worrier, not so much my skill level, but I'm like worry about. I'm like, oh God, what happens if I have this, and then something happens and I don't have it, and then I look like everybody looks at me because Donna's like, she's like, oh, you've got the training, go help them. I'm like, nah, like they're fine, they're still talking and they're crying, so we're good. When they stop crying and they stop talking, then I'll so. Not at work. We're
It's
here
just
to help.
with your children.
Just with our children. But no, I try to continue to do that, and then I have a large kit, which is the hard storage kit, which is kind of like the backup to the backup, and that's if stuff goes south. We're like, hey, we've emptied this. We have this. And
do you keep like a nasal airway and a chest seal? And...
I do keep hyphen chest seals, and I do have a nasal airway.
Yeah.
And I do have, you saw it, that have a collapsible bag valve mask.
Yeah, yours is really cool.
It's cool. They're expensive.
Yeah, but I mean, it goes to nothing.
All the stuff that's awesome costs a lot of money.
But no, so you're talking about North American Rescue. They have a nice trauma kit for those seals, pressure bandages, all that, and I keep that separate from my boo-boo kit.
Right.
Yeah.
Well.
You have a bag and a mask too?
I have I have the bag valve mask.
See, that's the problem. The point at which the nasal thing, you've exceeded my capacity for help.
It goes back to like the whole blood on the inside thing.
Right.
Leaking
DNA.
We want to get the air in and let the air out, and so we want to keep that circulation up, and we want to keep that oxygenation to the brain. But that's the skill level. Like if you don't feel comfortable with that, then if they're not breathing, call 911.
Well, if they're not breathing, I'm going to call 911 either way.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I mean, you are 911.
For those
so
of you that
a
don't know,
different
the nasal airway essentially, so it has a little thing of lubricant in a tube, and the packaging has a lot of words that says apply lubricant, push until.
Until it disappears.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, not it disappears. There's a flange on it. And
yeah.
it just goes up.
Oh, okay. I was supposed to be like,
They tell you to look at the biggest nostril, the nair. You gotta look to see which one's larger.
Oh.
Nobody ever does. I mean, I guess you could do that. But nobody's paying attention to that. Like you're putting it in there, you're just putting it in there.
So something that I've carried for years, only used once, is Quick Clot, and I know now they have like a gauze treated one. But
they have a gel that's spectacular.
So that was like a big deal. The old Quick Clot,
the powder.
That they used the powder.
Oh, that's some winning shit there.
That's
I got to be bleeding out before you're gonna put that shit on me. That's like the amount of pain that stuff.
Yes,
the one time I used it.
You might as well take a blowtorch.
It's like John Wayne, like cutting the top off a 12-gauge shotgun shell. And
right,
like
dumping some gunpowder in there.
Like,
and
nope,
hit it.
I'm out. I'll bleed to death. Thank you.
No, it was a buddy. We were out. He had a pretty severe cut that like rolled around a knuckle, like just no really good way, and it was filleted. So there's a big flap, and pressure wasn't working, and he was like, "Oh, what are we gonna do?" I was like, "Oh, I've got this stuff, but."
It's gonna.
You're
suck.
not gonna like it.
And
he's like, no, use it. It's fine. It was instantaneous. Regret. Just like, okay. Poured it on, and he screamed way more than when he cut his finger. Like, but it immediately stopped bleeding.
No, that's true.
But that's not good. I mean, well, you wouldn't think I wouldn't want to do it. I've tried. I've just felt it. We messed around with some of it. And that was one of the problems that they had was they started getting people would get infections.
Yeah.
People were having tissue damage around the wound
from the chemical cauterization.
Yes, I mean it's like
which is essentially what it does. Yeah.
Yes.
I still keep a couple, and I've seen they now have like gauze treated with it, which makes sense.
Gauze is far better.
Yeah.
Because it makes you do the other steps that you should have done to begin with, which is direct pressure and elevation, and then trying to calm down, and then pressure bandage.
Yeah.
So those, by them adding that Quick Clot to the bandage, essentially what they're doing is they're going, hey, don't forget to do this step after you've bandaged it, elevate it. So they're kind of getting you to do what you should do to begin with.
Yeah.
Minus all of the powder that's being poured in your wound.
Yeah, and I've used to use the like single ones that look like instant coffee. You probably shouldn't store those together. That could lead to some terrible mishaps.
Yeah.
It's just
Individual
dirty. It
instant
really
coffee.
But
is.
there's a gel one now, a clotting gel,
Okay.
and in a bandage.
And they
I've
don't-
gotten those recently. That's one of the things I do keep in my even my boo boo kit. I keep a
Yeah.
whatever little.
So you know what else? Up until a couple years ago, I didn't even carry this, and then I realized that it was something. Was like a dermabond. So like
skin glue.
essentially
Yeah.
but super glue works too. It's obviously not. You're not supposed to. Or,
Don't tell anybody that. You're a professional.
Yeah.
well, so I should take it out of my kit then.
No.
No. Like
Yeah,
I mean, no. I
do you
mean,
have
I
the
think,
gel kind,
like
or
in
do
a
you have the
pinch,
quick?
the quick stuff, like the stuff that you put a model together when you were a kid,
Yeah.
and you realized that the steering wheel was still
Those
stuck
glue-
to your finger.
Yeah.
We
That stuff.
just had that conversation earlier. One of the guys in the shop broke his glasses, and they're like, "Do you have any super glue?" I was like, "Let me tell you about a lesson." Once was fixing a friend's glasses, and then realized I was attached to the glasses.
Yes. Now you own the glasses.
Yeah, we actually they broke when we separated them from.
Yeah, so,
Yeah,
so
from-
that stuff works wonders for small stuff like
Yeah.
you're seeing, in between soft tissue injuries in the hands and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So I actually do carry the Dermabond though.
Yeah.
It's in a glass vials and you snap it. And it has
Oh.
Yeah.
cotton on the end, and then you
You
just
like-
rub the cotton
yeah,
on
applicator.
there
Cool.
on
Yeah.
an applicator. So I do use this stuff, but if you read a lot of the, I think you and I were talking about the guerrilla medicine thing.
Ditch medicine. Yeah.
The ditch medicine, the guerrilla medicine. They believe in the small, medium, first aid, large kits. So it's like an IFAC kit, a squad kit, and then like, your replenished kit or your truck kit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they use that. I mean, they talked about glue in there a lot.
Yeah.
So,
So Rodney, another like.
Do you carry a stapler?
no, I do carry.
Sutures?
Yes, I do carry sutures.
Yeah.
Okay. I
Yeah.
was just curious.
I carry sutures. I have a like traumatic stapler story. In a doctor's office, like post surgery, the thing that removes them
Oh,
apparently is a
Jesus.
2-stage tool. Like
Yes.
there's one spring that like separates them, and then a thing that catches them and pulls.
Pulls it apart, and then the other one pulls it out.
Yeah, the spring that separates them had broken, and they pulled the first one just out.
straight. Oh yeah.
And I was like, "Doc, there's 20 more of these." And he's like, "Oh, that wasn't quite right." And I was like, "Good, because I was gonna pass out. If, there was, if we're on 19, we got 19
I
left."
don't want any more. Yes. I'm fine.
So we talked about cats.
These are gonna have to fester. Though.
Yeah, like, just leave 'em.
Do these dissolve? How's this work? How long does stainless steel last in your body?
Yeah, it'll be fine. Soft tees, I've got one of those, which is very similar to cat. But I also always carry a SWAT tourniquet as well in my truck
Right.
kit for a couple of reasons. One, like dogs, little bitty leg, things like that.
Right.
But also, I'm a big fan of things with the instructions printed on them, not for me, but other people. The same with a Sam splint, like
Right.
when they look at it. So, any thoughts on
Do you
like
carry a Sam splint?
Yeah.
flat Sams versus the
flat Sam folds a 36-inch one.
yeah?
And it's good. I carry 2 of those.
That's what I was gonna ask you with the one that's in thirds versus
Yeah.
the one that's in a big.
The one that's in the roll, it's fine. I mean, it's the same thing. It's just how it's packaged.
Yeah.
And flat just seems to work better for the soft kits. Because I mean, if you think about it, that big thing rolled up rather than something
Yeah.
flat slid in like a slender pouch on the back.
Oh, Blue Ridge plug, they fit great in a small first aid kit. The ones that are tri-folded.
Yes, yeah, they
Yeah.
do. But yes, I carry the Sam splint. The tourniquet thing, the children thing is children and animals, I guess, is a big deal. I guess I would just improvise. The tournament thing's a big deal.
Oh, I know. People like.
Oh my goodness!
You can hear the soap boxes being drug out from underneath everyone's bed.
Listen, and another thing is like, listen, people used to do this with freaking belts, man. Like, or like a rope.
Yeah.
Like it is. Oh my God! If you don't, I get it. You don't want an inferior product.
Right. Yeah.
100%. And believe me, all mine are cats.
Yeah.
No plug. I'm just saying that all mine are cats.
Yeah. No,
But now I've had other companies give me ones. Like just say, hey, try this, or I've purchased some too, ratcheting ones.
Mm.
Whew, Sam Tourniquet actually makes one too.
Oh, okay.
And they're similar, very similar, and I just like the ease of the windlass, turning, the time. It's self-explanatory.
Yeah.
Time.
Yeah.
Put it on, leave it on.
No, and I'm right there with you. There's probably 3, like 2 cats and 1 soft tee, and then I've got 1 SWAT tourniquet too, and it's for other things like it. It and the Sam splint are a great combo for like applying a splint.
Oh
and stuff.
yes,
yeah,
for sure. And the
slingshot at camp. You know, you can do a lot with
You
it.
can
So.
well, you see, but
Slingshot?
you multi.
Yeah, it's like a 3 foot long piece of elastic. You make a
You're-
wicked apple slingshot.
You're like me though. Like you have one thing, but it has to have three purposes. To be worth it. So yes.
And all things should be a slingshot first. I mean,
Right,
I'm
yeah.
just saying.
Oh well,
and
yeah.
then do
Because
something
then you
else,
can
because-
definitely use it for the tourniquet afterwards.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Slingshot.
Take it down.
Yes.
We need it.
Yes.
I
Take your
mean,
time.
you know, you could feed yourself,
Yeah.
little squirrel hunting, little.
Yeah.
It would work very well.
Yeah, so you just spearfishing.
You could save the
Almost.
squirrel. You
Yeah.
could kill the squirrel, save the squirrel. It's a whole system.
That would be an interesting medical test. Like apply a tourniquet to a squirrel's leg.
We do have squirrels. They're stuffed, but we have them.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I meant a live one.
Oh, alive. All right.
And one that's not very happy about it. That's where the challenge would come in.
That's
Like,
when it gets real.
yeah, yeah.
A cornered, injured squirrel.
Yeah.
It's little
Put a
bit-
tourniquet on that squirrel.
They are rodents with long tails. I'm just saying.
They are.
Fuzzy tails.
Yeah, fuzzy.
They're
rat.
way cuter than
They're
Tree
cuter
rats.
than rats,
Yeah.
but we know that. They're cuter than
Yeah.
rats.
Hey, what's up? Quick interjection from the producer here. This conversation with Rodney ran really long, and this is where we pivoted to a whole new conversation. So we're going to go ahead and split that out. You can catch that in 2 weeks in part 2.